Welcome everyone to this week's video. Today we are on Fish Friday number 169 and we have a good one for you today. Today's fish is one of the most beautiful fish I've ever seen that I never actually really knew existed. I knew about the group, but I didn't know any specifics about any of the species. So this was actually a treat for me in more ways than one. Today's fish that we're going to be talking about is the filamented flasher wrasse. Now, the filamented flasher wrasse, or scientific name Parachylinus, maybe filamentosus. Again, that's Parachylinus filamentosus. Tough one. It is part of the family Labridae, which is the family of wrasses. And we've talked about wrasses before. Wrasses are a group of fish that are known to be exceptionally colorful. And this fish is obviously no exception. Absolutely beautiful. Coloration's phenomenal. But something that's very interesting about wrasses is there isn't a whole lot of research done on individual species that is really out there in my experience. They're very specific. Now, there are people out there, don't get me wrong, that their entire lives are devoted to studying wrasses. They can tell you 10,000 more times than I can. But if you're not really a specialty in wrasses, from what I have seen, don't really have a whole lot of extra information. But I could be wrong. Please correct me in the comments why we do these things. This fish is native to the Western Pacific Ocean, specifically the Indian Pacific region, Indonesia, Philippines, Papua New Guinea. Very common in the Great Barrier Reef. So this is one of the fish that you would see if you go diving in the Great Barrier Reef, which is always really cool. One of the highlights. I wish it is a what do they call it? One of those, the bucket list thing for me to do. My wife wants to go to New Zealand. Mrs. Ping wants to go to New Zealand. I want to go to the Great Barrier Reef. Not a saltwater guy, but you have to give respect to the Great Barrier Reef. And as you can imagine, going back to the fish, being from the Great Barrier Reef, this fish is very closely associated to coral. It's only really found in coral-rich areas, lagoons, reef crest environments. Situations like that. And like most coral reef fish in this area, they inhabit depths ranging from 1 to 30 meters, which is 3 to 100 feet, which really isn't that deep for most reef fish. So, it's about to be expected. Now, this is a small fish. It reaches lengths to about 8 to 10 centimeters, which is around 3 to 4 inches. That seems to be about the average wrasse sort of length. Obviously, there are wrasses that are much bigger, but I feel like most wrasse species that I come across are around that 3 to 4 inch range. But as you can see, beautiful coloration. You got these bright iridescent hues with blues, greens, yellows, reds. They can be variable. This one has different indigo, has all these lines. It does seem to have all these lines. Small mouth, intricate patterns. Looks like there are even intricate patterns on here. It almost looks like they're kind of webbed, the fin rays. Very long caudal fin, long gatal fin, but not caudal fin, dorsal fin, sorry. But obviously, these extreme filaments on the dorsal fin and the caudal fin are just crazy long. These extended fin rays are just phenomenal to look at, and it's no wonder these fish are such a huge draw to tourism and the aquarium trade. This fish can be found in the aquarium trade. And what's interesting is that these fins and filaments and colors even become more pronounced in courtship displays. Females are usually smaller and less colorful than the males. Males apparently have bright coloration, filaments will extend, they'll turn more neon. I mean, this fish is just really cool, really cool. I have found them anywhere from about $90 per fish. I wouldn't necessarily take this fish though, because they do need a larger aquarium, probably around 125-gallon aquarium minimum. They need reefs, they need, you know, rocks and crevices, and from my understanding they need like 3 females and 1 male, and definitely not more than 1 male. Well, not need, they will be significantly more happy if you have more than one. Even though I didn't find anything that really said these are a very social fish and schooling, it seems like they do prefer to have other members of their species, which is kind of interesting, you know, and we can go there. But now for the interesting fact we're going to end this video on. It's a short video this time. I really wanted to talk about this fish, but I just couldn't find a lot of information out there about this fish species. Because as I was saying, when you look up fish species, first off, there's a lot of misidentifications out there. And they talk to wrasses as a whole rather than the species. Now, looking back, I probably should have done this fish much similar to like the discus video that we did so long ago, where I talked about all discus fish because it's like impossible to make determinations on. But wrasses are such a huge family that it still would have been very difficult to do. But I digress. Going back, the interesting fact we're going to end the video on is almost a 2-parter. I saw some people stating that at night these fish sleep in a mucus-covered cocoon between rocks. But I found conflicting opinions saying that no, they just wedge themselves. But I have no experience. Please, someone, if you've had one of these fish, tell me, do they actually put themselves in a mucus-covered cocoon, or do they just sort of wedge themselves and their mucus kind of rubs off in this instant? I don't know. And that's one of the kind of the second part of the interesting fact of the video is you know, I'm a big proponent. If I get something wrong, please tell me. You should always question what anyone is telling you as fact. That's the main part of science, is going out to either prove something or disprove something. That's actually the basis of the scientific method. You start with a hypothesis or null hypothesis. You design an experiment to test it. So please, if I'm wrong, correct me. But what I wanted to talk about was how conflicting opinions you get on the internet, and they all agree you need some rocks with crevices for them to sleep at night. But there can be a big difference to how hardiness a fish is, because if a fish is having to make a mucus cocoon at night between the rocks, that would require a lot of energy, which would require these fish to be pretty voracious. Now, I do think I read plenty that said they're relatively hardy, which leads me to believe that they more just wedge themselves between rocks. However, if people had just found that one and been looking for that mucus covered cocoon, they might have thought their fish was healthy. So the long story short is if you are doing an aquarium and researching your fish, try and pull from multiple sources or from trusted aquarists that have experience with that fish, so that you can provide the best care to your fish that you can. In this particular instance, I would not be a person that you would want to ask, but I hope that to viewers it was, oh, this is a neat fish I didn't know existed, because I'm the same way. I didn't know this fish existed, this species. With these crazy filaments, trust me, if I ever started a reef aquarium, this is going on my bucket list as a fish that I want in there. And there's not a lot of fish on that list. So this one makes my list now, and it kicked something else off. So, hey, I'm excited that I found this. But thank you guys so much again. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. If I don't, please be safe. Have a great day. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you do. I'd really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. If you'd like to support the channel, please click the link down below. It is by no means expected, but very much appreciated. Regardless, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and